have low vision, or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Mary Gilmore, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the February 18th, 2026 issues of the Batavia Daily News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Iroquois Job Corps retains federal funding. The Iroquois Job Corps program in Medina will share its $1.76 billion in federal funding this year, helping to keep it and other centers open. Merle Skip Draper, Orleans County legislator and corporate business and community liaison for education and training resources, a workforce development provider, said the Job Corps program is a congressional program administered through the U.S. Department of Labor. Currently, the U.S. Congress has funded the Job Corps program, and we are thankful for that, as America's youth can benefit from the Job Corps program. America needs more skilled trades, he said. Earlier this month, Senator Chuck Schumer said money for the Job Corps centers was preserved. The 2026 Labor, Health, and Human Services Education Funding Bill rejects President Donald J. Trump's call to eliminate Job Corps, Schumer said. Schumer said Job Corps centers have helped millions of young people ages 16 through 24 finish high school, learn technical skills, and get jobs in in-demand fields such as healthcare and construction. Orleans County Legislature Chair Lynn Johnson said the county is aware of the announcement and is thrilled that the House and Senate came together to preserve the program. I think there is agreement among all federal leaders that America desperately needs more skilled laborers, and Job Corps is integral to making that happen, she said. While we are proud to advocate for preservation of Job Corps, I am not party to the particulars of their finances. Albion roof collapses like a pancake. Section falls on top of second floor at 20 East Bank Street. No injuries were reported Tuesday morning after a roof collapse about 12 feet into the second floor of 20 East Bank Street. But some apartment tenants and business owners were displaced from the downtown building. What it looks like, from my understanding, is that the roof collapsed like a pancake, which means it dropped straight down and did not pull from the sides of the walls, Code Enforcement Officer Chris Kinter said during a news conference conducted shortly afterwards. The collapsed part of the roof was sitting on top of the ceiling of the second floor as of early Tuesday afternoon, Kinter said. About 15 people were displaced, he said, and 2 stores had to be vacated. I think there were 3 or 4 businesses that it affected, and there were probably 15 people, I think, he said. The Department of Social Services has been notified, and the owner has agreed to put the people up in a hotel as needed. The roof collapse affected 3 apartments. Water came down into 2 of the units. Kinter was asked what caused the collapse. I think the weight of the ice finally broke the beam that held up the roof, Kinter said. There's still beams in place, but then there's a wood beam on top of that. Mayor Angel Javier Jr. said the roof collapse was reported about 6:30 a.m. Tuesday. Work has been going on there over the past week. Property owner Frank Corso sent personnel to the site, Xavier said. That was when they noticed the roof collapse, he said during a press conference that afternoon at the Albion Village Hall. Kinter was notified shortly after that, and Albion firefighters were among the ones to respond. We ensured that nobody was within the building roughly around 10 o'clock and confirmed that everyone was safely evacuated from the building and that no one was hurt, Xavier said. Shortly after, all utilities for 16 through 28 East Bank Street were shut off. Following the 40 by 40-foot roof collapse, people were kept away from the building. East Bank Street in front of the building was closed to vehicles and pedestrians. Albion Joint Fire District and Fire Department Vice Chair and Public Information Officer David Buzek said the fire department was at the scene quickly. Our fire department worked very diligently and hard to ensure that everybody was safe and the structure was contained, Buzek said. As of Tuesday afternoon, responders were assessing whether the rest of 20 East Bank Street might collapse. Our fire district is working with codes to make sure the building is structurally safe, Buzak said. Kinter said that after getting to the scene, he made sure people were safe and the structure was as secure as possible. He said Fire Chief Jeremy Graham assisted with finding out where the people could go. County Director of Emergency Management Justin Naderhofer responded, and the Monroe County Fire Bureau was brought in to assess the situation structurally. The people who lived there called the incident in, Kinter said. The building was old, probably at least from the 1800s. It was the old J.J. Newberry Company years ago. There is a restriction on living on the third floor, though. Some storage was allowed. Unless you have a sprinkler system in place on your third floor, nobody can occupy that, he said. Pastor Kevin Wynn of Full Gospel Tabernacle, 22 East Bank Street, said he came in Friday night and said he saw water damage on the carpet and on the light fixtures. He said he called the servicemen for the building. He said that we had a problem with the roof and they were working on it, Wynn said. Saturday, I came in. I noticed that the lights wouldn't come on. I knew we had to cancel the service and go online as best we could or go to our Rochester location. Since the roof was being worked on, the pastor said, he assumed the damage would be minimal. Until I got a call saying the roof had collapsed in and we had water damage, more than we originally assessed, and you can't go in the building. Wynn said he arrived Tuesday at about 12:15 p.m. to see whether the church could get its equipment and valuables out. He's been pastor there for about 2.5 years, and there was a former pastor leading the church. Corso has been a great landlord, Wynn said. Anytime there was something wrong, he took care of it right away, Wynn said. But the building's old and things have aged. You have to just go with the flow and make the best of things. We have a sister church in Rochester that we can partner with, or I might even talk to some of the local pastors. There's a couple of them that I'm close with, and we can begin to go there. We're going to see what's best for the members because I'm concerned about them even more than the equipment. Wynn said the Full Gospel Tabernacles membership ranges from 20 to 30 people. When you look at the building structure, they have a picture. From the outside, it looks okay. But obviously, like they said, the outside structure stayed and it just collapsed in. Such a shame. DOCCS Commissioner doesn't regret firing officers. Agency has 4,600 vacant positions. When the State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision fired 2,000 correction officers to end a 3-week-long strike in 2025, it exacerbated a staffing crisis. At a state budget hearing on Thursday, State Senator Tom O'Meara asked DOCCS Commissioner Daniel Marticello III if he regrets firing the correction officers, especially as the state is spending more than $1 billion to deploy the National Guard to state prisons. and the agency has 4,600 vacant correction officer positions. Marticello did not hesitate. No, he responded. O'Mara, Republican Big Flats, followed up and questions Marticello's stance. Haven't they been punished enough, he asked. During the strike, Marticello said correction officers had opportunities to return to work. There were 4 different agreements, he noted, that included concessions from the state in exchange for the officers ending the work stoppage. Although some officers returned to their post, others continued what the DOCCS had called an illegal job action. Because the state terminated the employees under the collective bargaining agreement, the fired officers could file grievances. According to Marticello, more than 900 workers were rehired. We have given them an opportunity to come back, Marticello said. That has now ended. Thousands of correction officers went on strike at New York correctional facilities due to concerns about prison violence and working conditions. Before the walkout, DOCCS reported a record number of assaults on staff and assaults on incarcerated individuals in 2024. Striking correction officers demanded the repeal of the Humane Alternatives to Long-Term Solitary Confinement Act, a law that limits the use of segregated confinement in county jails and state prisons. Officers believe HALT has contributed to increasing violence in prisons. Although repealing HALT was unlikely, ultimately, it's a legislative decision. DOCCS and the New York Correction Officers and Police Benevolent Association, which represents state correction officers, agreed to form a committee that would examine ways to improve the law. Proposed reforms were released in September. However, there has been no action by the state legislature to implement those changes. Assemblyman Phil Palisano, who also questioned Marticello during the budget hearing, urged Hochul to include HALT reform legislation in her 2026-27 budget. If she doesn't give one iota about the safety and care of our correction officers, Palisano, Republican Corning said. Staff was among the top issues addressed during the hearing, with Marticello highlighting DOCCS's efforts to boost recruitment in the aftermath of the strike. The correction officer shortfall is significant. Beginning in 2021, the state had lost at least 1,000 correction officers a year. This trend worsened in 2025 due to the strike, with a loss of 2,817 correction officers. The number of correction officers employed by the DOCCS fell from 19,295 in 2018 to 11,278 at the end of 2025. Marticello said that the department has 6,600 vacant positions, most of which are correction officers. To counter the decline, DOCCS invested in its recruitment process, contracted with an advertising firm, and took other actions such as increasing correction officer salaries. According to Marticello, 60,000 people completed forms expressing interest in becoming a correction officer, and 20,000 were placed on an eligible list. Despite losing 2,800 correction officers in 2025, the state added 550 new officers. The next academy class has 130 recruits. We had to get the attrition rate under control, and we had to attract the people in, so that was going to take some time, Marticello said, adding, "We never thought it was going to be overnight, but everything is trending in the right direction." You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Batavia Daily News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Fog, rain, and sleet drop in for much of the area. Call in February weather. Fog and dampness made for a dreary Tuesday in the Glow region. More bad weather is expected in Genesee and Orleans counties, with a winter weather advisory in effect through 1 a.m. Thursday. Mixed precipitation is expected, with total snow and sleet accumulation of less than an inch, according to the National Weather Service in Buffalo. Freezing rain accumulations of a tenth to a quarter inch are predicted. The greatest ice accumulations will likely be across portions of Niagara, Orleans, and western Monroe counties, NWS forecasters said. Periods of snow, sleet, or freezing rain will result in slippery roads and limited visibility. The winter mix and freezing rain may result in very slick conditions on untreated surfaces, forecasters said. The hazardous conditions will impact the Wednesday morning and evening commutes. Drivers are advised to slow down and use caution. Most of western New York, including the Glow region, was under a dense fog advisory from Tuesday through 7 a.m. Wednesday. The mist shrouded traffic and pedestrians out and about much of the day. Elsewhere in New York State, an air quality health advisory was issued for an area including New York City, Rockland, and Westchester counties. The cause was listed as fine particulate matter stemming from light winds and limited atmospheric mixing. No similar advisories have been issued for the Glow region, where air quality was rated as moderate, according to the www.airnow.gov. I'm not sure about that. Well, I guess the visibility has been bad. What I know is the damp and coldness has affected probably every bone in my body. So I know it's cold and damp. Local news: phone call and letter lead to new charges. A recently released state inmate who was indicted last month on serious domestic violence charges has been arrested again while in jail, Wyoming County Sheriff's deputies said. Dylan J. Powell, 25, of Warsaw, phoned and mailed a protected person, County Sheriff deputies said. He was charged Friday with aggravated family offense and second-degree criminal contempt. Powell has been in jail since December 17th, when he allegedly assaulted a woman. He was indicted in January and charged with 10 counts of aggravated family offense for repeatedly violating an order of protection. Powell was released from prison on October 23rd after serving 4 years for second-degree assault and second-degree burglary. He was convicted of entering his neighbor's apartment in Attica after he burst in waving a knife after ongoing disputes with the neighbors. While in jail on that charge, Powell attacked and injured another inmate, resulting in a felony assault charge. Lindenville CSD $19.5 million project enters second phase, metal building renovations included as part of the work. It looks like they have a picture of the new synthetic track with a grass soccer field in the middle, the Lindenville Central School District said. It's beautiful, very big, and looks like a nice space for the students. Lindenville Central School District is seeing the results of the first phase of the $19,505,384 capital project as more work gets underway. The overall project remains on schedule and under budget, said School Business Administrator Dan Dragula. We continue to anticipate substantial completion in late fall of this year. The first phase included the replacement and completion of several roofs across the district and the finishing of a new synthetic track with a grass soccer field in the middle. The work enables the school to host home track meets for the first time in more than a decade. The community may also use the track. These new roofing systems will protect our facilities and students for many years to come, Dragula said. The new track has been completed. The grass soccer field was intentionally given time to fully establish and grow in properly, and we look forward to its full use this coming fall season. The second phase includes complete renovation of one of the older instructional wings, commonly referred to as the metal building, the school business administrator said. It was originally constructed in the early 1970s. This renovation modernizes the space to current building standards and better supports instructional needs for the future, Dragula said. In addition, due to careful financial planning and cost efficiencies achieved during the project, we are able to include updates to windows, HVAC system, and the PA systems throughout both buildings. These improvements will enhance safety, efficiency, and the overall learning environment. Contractors and district administration have worked closely to ensure the daily educational operations continue with minimal disruption, Dragula said. Work has been strategically scheduled and phased to prioritize student safety and maintain a consistent instructional environment, with the bulk of the work taking place during scheduled school breaks. We are proud of the collaboration that has allowed this project to progress smoothly while school remains fully operational, he added. Our team is proud to partner with the Lindenville Central School District on this project, said Chris Picone, president of Picone Construction. Picone is the general contractor for the project. Educational projects require thoughtful coordination and clear communication, and we're focused on delivering a successful outcome that supports students, staff, and the broader community. Construction has been scheduled in alignment with the school calendar to ensure continuity of operations while advancing the district's long-term facility goals. Here is the blotter. Peary. 18-year-old was jailed Thursday after breaking a victim's jaw, Wyoming County Sheriff's Department deputy said. The teen punched another person in the face at Route 20A address after a verbal argument, deputies said. The incident allegedly occurred in the presence of a 5-year-old child. The teen was charged with second-degree assault and endangering the welfare of a child. He was committed to Wyoming County Jail. The teen's name was not released. Castile. A village man was charged February 10th after a domestic incident, Wyoming County Sheriff's deputies said. Deputies responded to an address on South Main Street. They made contact with a female who told them a verbal disagreement had escalated and she had allegedly been assaulted. Property was also allegedly damaged during the incident. Curtis Waite, 29, was charged with an investigation with fourth-degree criminal mischief. He is to appear in village court at a later date. Ridgeway. A Medina man is facing several charges after a December 13th traffic stop, Orleans County Sheriff's deputy said. Caleb Boyce was charged with DWI, moving from lane unsafely, failure to keep right, insufficient signaling, refusing to yield to an emergency vehicle, and failure to submit to a chemical test. Murray. A traffic stop on December 17th resulted in charges against an Albion man, Orleans County Sheriff's deputy said. Jose Casiano was charged with driving while ability impaired by drugs, seventh-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance, parking on pavement, driving to the left of the pavement markings, failure to keep right, driving on the shoulder, and moving from lane unsafely. Carlton. A Kent man was charged December 17th after an investigation, Orleans County Sheriff's deputy said. Justin Cooper was charged with first-degree criminal contempt and 2 counts of second-degree criminal contempt. Albion. The following arrests were reported recently by Orleans County Sheriff's deputies. Reginald Lucas of Rochester was taken into custody December 18th for an alleged probation violation. Cassandra Bunce of Barker, Orleans County, was charged December 21st with petite larceny and endangering the welfare of a child for an alleged incident in Albion. Yanni Bitsas of Londonville was charged December 22nd with petite larceny for an incident in the town of Albion. Nathan Stanton of Hilton, Monroe County, was charged December 25th with second-degree assault, obstructing governmental administration, and resisting arrest for an incident in the town of Albion. Pauline Myers of Buffalo was charged January 5th with petite larceny after an incident in the town of Shelby. Stacy Moss of Albion was charged January 19th with 26 counts of second-degree criminal contempt after an investigation at Orleans County Jail. Yates. A traffic stop on January 3rd resulted in charges against a Medina man, Orleans County Sheriff deputies said. Michael Moore was charged with DWI, driving with a blood alcohol content of 0.8% or 0.8% or more, driving to the left of pavement markings, failure to keep right, driving on the shoulder, moving from lane unsafely, and unlicensed operation. In Shelby, Christopher Clark was charged January 9th after investigation of a crash which occurred in November, Orleans County Sheriff's Department said. Clark of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, was charged with driving while ability impaired by drugs and alcohol, DWI, driving with a blood alcohol content of 0.08% or more, driving at a speed not reasonable or prudent, and failure to keep right. Shelby. A Lockport man is facing several charges after a January 10th traffic stop, Orleans County Sheriff's deputy said. Troy Green was charged with driving while ability impaired by drugs, driving to the left of pavement markings, failure to keep right, driving on the shoulder, and moving from the lane unsafely. Ridgeway. A traffic stop on January 10th resulted in charges against a Niagara County man, Orleans County Sheriff's deputy said. Charles Duntlin was charged with driving with ability impaired by drugs, driving to the left of the pavement markings, failure to keep right, and driving on the shoulder. Medina. The following arrests were recently reported by Medina police. Kevin Carpenter of Medina was charged January 29th with driving with ability impaired by drugs and driving an uninspected motor vehicle. And Anthony Arrico of Medina was charged February 10th with petite larceny. There are some death notices. Marjorie Davidson, nee Francis, passed at 102. Gerald D. Smith, 85. Ralph Worthington was 78. Patricia J. Brown Mayer passed away. Family issues statement on Warsaw incident. Father asks respect for privacy as district investigates. The parents of the boy involved in an incident at Warsaw Central School has issued a statement and have asked and are asking for privacy as the matter continues. In light of the significant media attention surrounding the recent incident involving our son at Warsaw Central School, we feel it is important to share our perspective, the boy's father said in a news release issued Saturday. First and foremost, we would like to thank the Warsaw Central School District for their prompt and thorough response, the father said. We appreciate the efforts of the superintendent, the middle school, high school principal, and all those involved in addressing the situation and administering appropriate disciplinary consequences. You are listening to the reading of articles and features from the Batavia Daily News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Warsaw Central School canceled the remainder of its boys varsity and junior varsity basketball seasons this past Thursday after receiving additional information related to an ongoing investigation of what may have been a bullying or hazing incident. The school announced February 5th that it was conducting an investigation after receiving reports of an incident involving a number of students in the middle high school. The district reached out to Warsaw Village Police, who contacted parents involved. The parents indicated they preferred the situation to be handled internally by the school. We viewed the video footage the day after the incident occurred, the boy's father said. After careful consideration, we believe the school handled the matter appropriately. Based on both the video and our son's account, we do not believe this incident was premeditated, hazing, racially motivated, or a sexual assault. However, it was a serious act of bullying which is unacceptable and required immediate attention. We firmly believe that bullying of any kind should never be tolerated, the boy's father continued. In this case, we feel the school responded in a way that reflected the seriousness of the behavior and took proper steps to address it. There has been a great deal of misinformation, speculation, and false allegations circulating in the community and on social media, the father said. Some individuals have spoken publicly or given interviews without our consent and without representing our family's views, he said. We ask that our family's privacy be respected moving forward. Most importantly, our son is doing well, he continued. He has handled this situation with maturity and resilience and has not experienced lasting emotional or physical harm. Like any teenager, he simply wants to move forward. Return to normal life. We are incredibly proud of the strength and character he has shown. We also extend empathy to anyone who may have been impacted by the broader attention surrounding this situation, the father said. The Daily News is not naming the father or the family. The situation erupted into media attention after posts and comments circulating on social media sparked the initial investigation. They alleged a hazing or bullying incident among students, which could not be confirmed. There's no police investigation at this time. Village police remain available to assist if needed. Again, we thank the Warsaw Central School District and the members of our community who have shown concern and support, the boy's father said. We value this community deeply and look forward to continuing to live, work, and serve here. Linderman joins Wyoming County Sheriff race. Longtime Warsaw Police Sergeant believes in building community. Jason Linderman has joined the race for Wyoming County Sheriff. Linderman, 41, of Warsaw, is a longtime area police officer. He's seeking the Republican nomination to replace retiring Sheriff David Lindner. He joins Colin Regan and Chance Sampson in announcing his candidacy for the position, with Lindner set to retire at year's end. I decided to run for sheriff of Wyoming County because I believe in law and order, personal responsibility, and a sheriff's office that enforces the law fairly, consistently, and constitutionally, Linderman said. I strongly support the Second Amendment and the rights of law-abiding citizens, and I firmly believe in the protections of the Fourth Amendment, including lawful search and seizure. Upholding the Constitution is not a barrier to effective policing. It is the foundation of it. Linderman served the past 18 years with the Warsaw Village Police Department, including the past 12 years as sergeant. He's a field training officer, has completed numerous narcotics-related training programs, and served as a member of the Wyoming County Drug Task Force. Linderman was recognized in 2020 with the Mothers Against Drunk Driving Award and has also received the Community Awareness Award from the Wyoming County Mental Health Department. He's completed critical incident training and advanced roadside impaired driving enforcement. Community, family, and transparency, he said. These are values I don't just talk about, I live them. I have been with my beautiful wife Amanda for 13 years, he continued. She is a registered nurse. We have dedicated our lives to serving others through law enforcement, our church, youth programs, schools, and community health and welfare efforts. Linderman is a Warsaw Public Library trustee and serves on the Warsaw Youth Baseball Softball Board. Amanda Linderman is on the Warsaw Soccer Club Committee and coaches youth soccer. I also coach youth basketball and softball, Linderman said. We are a 100% community-based family, and that same mindset is what I would bring to the sheriff's office. All departments at the sheriff's needs to be recognized for the great work they do and the service they provide to our community on a daily basis, he continued. From road patrol to the jail and 9/11 dispatchers, we are all one family and they need to be treated and recognized as such. When they feel that support and appreciation, they provide better services to the public. Linderman said he wants to expand community-based policing efforts, address mental health challenges within the community, protect elderly residents from crime and fraud, and form stronger relationships between law enforcement and the public. He and Amanda have 5 children. I grew up in Wyoming County and love the community and the people who live here, and that is why I choose to raise my family here, Linderman said. Moderna's flu shot ordeal hurts innovation in public health. The Food and Drug Administration's recent decision to turn away Moderna's application for a new flu shot for older Americans is a troubling development in the health officials' piecemeal dismantling of the U.S. vaccine infrastructure. The biotech firm's shot has been tested in a huge late-stage trial of more than 40,000 adults aged 50 and older, where it appeared more effective than the standard flu vaccine most of us take. That should have been enough to at least merit an FDA review, in the past, that is. But it landed at U.S. regulators' desks at a time of incredible scrutiny of both its underlying mRNA technology and vaccines in general. This type of dismissal from the FDA is rare and typically reserved for applications that have some glaring deficiency. Yet the agency didn't identify any safety or efficiency problems with the shot, Moderna said. Stat News reported that Vinay Prasad, who oversees the FDA's vaccines arm, and in December put out a controversial memo foreshadowing changes to vaccine oversight, had overruled career scientists in turning away the application. Prasad's critique centered on the study's design, which he said failed to compare Moderna's shot to the best available standard of care, or a higher dose flu vaccine that is recommended for the elderly. In an interview with Fox News on Wednesday, FDA Commissioner Marty Makary commented on the controversy. Some say that the trial they conducted was unethical, he said, because it did not use the high-dose shot in seniors. Yet he also appeared to soften the agency's stance, suggesting the application could eventually be considered in parts. It's fair for the FDA to question aspects of the study, but those concerns typically are aired out during the review when agency experts spend months poring over the details of an application. Any implications for a vaccine's use, in this case whether the shot should be recommended for people over the age of 65, are then typically determined by the CDC. Prasad's extreme move upends the open process and suggests an agency intent on changing the rules mid-game. Prasad's decision is particularly galling amid this severe flu season, which has underscored the need for more innovative products. The current shots work well at keeping people out of the hospital and saving lives, but they take a long time to make, and that can limit their effectiveness. In order for shots to be ready for the fall, global health agencies must pick the strains that go into the shots in February. But the current outbreak was driven by a new flu strain that emerged over the summer. An mRNA vaccine, which can be manufactured in just a few months, could, in theory, yield a vaccine that is better matched to what's circulating when people actually roll up their sleeves. Now, the arrival of such a shot is at best delayed. At worst, it might not happen at all. The issue is much bigger than this one shot. Drug and vaccine developers, not to mention investors, rely on regulatory certainty. Consider the immense size and cost of a late-stage trial for a new vaccine. Moderna's phase 3 trial for its flu shot likely cost about $1 billion. The company declined to give an exact figure, but noted in an interview that Blackstone Life Sciences publicly committed to investing up to $750 million in the shot. The FDA's shifting standards for vaccines make such an investment far riskier. The next people, whether it's us or others, want to go have a conversation with the agency about $1 billion phase 3 investment. They're going to have in the back of their mind, are they misleading me? Moderna President Stephen Hodge told me, you can imagine the incredible dampening effect that this will have on the appetite for investment. Moderna's CEO Stephanie Bancel told Bloomberg last month that U.S. health officials' attitude toward vaccines have prompted the company to curtail investment in late-stage studies. It's not hard to imagine others could follow suit. The FDA's decision marks another escalation in Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s anti-vaccine crusade. So far, his most visible moves have been at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, where he replaced the agency's vaccine advisors with the panel that shares his agenda. That panel made several changes to the CDC's advice, most notably rescinding the decades-long recommendation that newborns receive the hepatitis B vaccine. The most shocking shift occurred last month when HHS unveiled a dramatically pared-back childhood vaccine schedule. Those decisions influence insurance coverage of vaccines, affect public perception of their safety and value, and encourage states to make it easier for people to forego them. That ultimately makes the country more vulnerable to preventable diseases. The result, needless infections and deaths. Despite all of that, individuals can still get the shots that CDC has opted against recommending. The barriers might be higher. A vaccine might be harder to find or too expensive to afford, for example. But so far, access still exists. The FDA, with its oversight of what products can be marketed in the U.S., has the power to directly change that. The Moderna flu debacle offers a first glimpse of how that might unfold more broadly for routine shots. The situation already puts a second Moderna vaccine in limbo. That's because the FDA wanted to consider Moderna's flu vaccine application before reviewing its combination flu COVID shot, Hodge said. Regulators in other countries, meanwhile, have continued to review vaccines with the same level of scrutiny and surety as in the past. Moderna, for example, says its flu shot is now under consideration for approval in Australia, Canada, and Europe. Where does that leave the public? Americans might soon find that instead of being the first in line for medical innovations, they will have to wait, or worse, can't get them at all. That could be because the FDA refuses to approve them, or because companies decide it's too risky to invest in them. Either way, that'll compromise both America's innovative edge and its people's health. This column reflects the personal views of the author and does not necessarily reflect the opinion of the editorial board of Bloomberg LP and its owners. Lisa Jarvis is a Bloomberg opinion columnist covering biotech, health care, and pharmaceutical industries. Previously, she was executive editor of Chemical and Engineering News. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Batavia Daily News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. We're going to move into sports now. Hicks, Harkness, Williams help OA stay unbeaten. Thrush powers WC in blowout win. Oakfield. It was another balanced output from Oakfield, Alabama on Monday, storming past Royland Heartland 70-33. Hadley Hicks led the trio with 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals. Her twin sister, Harper Hicks, came just short of a double-double with 9 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Allison Harkness posted 13 points and 2 assists, and Emma Williams recorded a career-high 10 points to give the Hornets 3 players in double figures. Allie Williams had a nice game with 7 points and 10 rebounds. Riley Denny chipped in 5 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Chloe Luttrell added 4 points and 4 rebounds. Sophia Hughes totaled 4 points and 5 rebounds, and Alexa Clark scored 2 points and grabbed 8 rebounds to round out OA's efforts in their 19th straight victory. The Hornets jumped out early, taking a 14-4 lead in the first quarter. They doubled up the Rams in the second quarter before blowing the game open in the second half. Oakfield, Alabama moves to 19-0 on the season. Roy Hart ends the regular season 7-13. Wheatland Chilai 63, North Star Christian 30, WC 9-10. Whitney Thrush 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. Vanessa Guerrero 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Madison Pope 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks. Jada Mecker 6 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. North Star 316, Elena Cheval 19 points. Worth tallies 31-point double-double. Elba dominates. Kendall rolls past Londonville. And Elba put forth a dominant performance Monday night to earn an 81-47 road win over Lima Christian. Brad Worth had a double-double in the victory, racking up 31 points and 12 rebounds. Bing Zuber did it all for the Lancers, totaling 10 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals. Ryan Marcel chipped in 19 points and 6 assists, while Nick Scott scored 13 points. It's important for us to start feeling good about who we are and where we're going as we head into the postseason. We have one more regular season game on Wednesday night to cap off what has been a successful season. I do get a sense that my guys are hungry and ready for what the next few weeks could look like, Elba said. Elba head coach Chichi Zambito said. Elba is now 14-5 and holds the number 2 seed in Section 5, Class D. The Lancers closed the season against Wheatfield Chilai 0-18 at 7 p.m. Wednesday. Lima Christian drops to 2-14 and closes the regular season at 6 p.m. Wednesday, hosting Lyndonville 4-15. Kendall 73, Londonville 23. Game details. Kendall raced out to a 21-8 start and trailed 29-13 after a low-scoring second quarter. The Eagles blew the game open in the third, outscoring Lyndonville 29-6. Kendall 13-6. C.J. D'Agostino 21 points, 4 steals. Noah Morehouse, 19.7 rebounds and 4 steals. Vinny D'Agostino, 12 points, 9 rebounds. Ryan Gayser, 9 points. Sammy Conte, 8 points. Caleb Opleki, 2 points. Johnny Conti, 2 points. Londonville, 4 and 15. Atticus Mank, 8 points. 14 Glow Region teams compete at Cale Mum's Grand Finale. Caledonia Mumford hosted the Cale Mum Grand Finale cheerleading competition on Saturday with 14 Glow Region teams traveling to partake. Several teams had good showings in a competitive field. Perry was one of the top finishing teams, taking third in Division D2 with a score of 72.70. That tied for the best score of the day among Glow Region teams and the fifth highest on the entire day. Additionally, Violet Lee was awarded the Star Performer Award, while Peyton Litton won her 4th jump off of the season. I'm super proud of this team, Perry head coach Ashley Hijack said. We're in a very tough division, and these girls never back down from the challenge. They push themselves every day, trust each other, and left everything on the mat. Finishing third against such strong competition is a true testament to their hard work and heart. The champions of Division D2 were Granada with a score of 77.50. 4 other Glow Region teams finished behind Perry in the division, with Kendall in 4th, 66.90, Warsaw in 5th, 65.70, and Geneseo in 6th at 42.30. In Division D1, Pembroke finished 3rd. The Geneseo Region champions recorded a score of 67.45. Attica 65.60 and Letchworth 62.70 finished close behind, taking 4th and 5th in the division. Fillmore won Division 3 ahead of a pair of Glow Region teams. Kashikwa was 2nd with a score of 52.85, and Oakfield, Alabama was 3rd with a score of 50.10. In a loaded C division, Bath Heverling was the top-placing local fixture. The Rams matched Perry's score of 72.70 to finish 2nd, just behind Honey Eye Falls, Lima, 73.05. Leroy took 3rd with a score of 68.50, and Wayland Cochran was 4th, 63.80, and Dansville took 6th, 62.20. We had one minor stunting issue and some things that were not as clean as they could be throughout the routine. However, there were some small improvements in some areas that we have been struggling with. With this being our last regular season competition, we will now push to upgrade a couple things over the next 2 weeks as we prepare for sectionals, Dansville head coach Deborah Robinson said. York Pavilion also took the mats in the co-ed division. The Golden Knights recorded a score of 53.30 to finish behind Evoca Prattsburg 70.10 in the two-team field. The last competitions before sectionals on Saturday, February 28th are at the HF-L Cougar Classic on Thursday and the Battle at the Ridge at Eastridge High School on Sunday. Kynes powers Attica to senior night win over WC. Well, the pitcher of Attica, the team, they must have been told not to smile because they all just are standing there just straight-faced, but they look like a good team. Blake Kynes had another stellar performance on Monday to help Attica finish the regular season strong and claim a senior night victory against Wheatland Chili with a final score of 73-31. Kynes would end the contest with a game-high 24 points and added 11 rebounds as well to secure the double-double. Jason Stockweather was pivotal for the Blue Devils as well, as he would post 11 points of his own. Grant Nixon dropped 5 points for Attica, rounding out the top scorers for the team on the night. I was really happy for our seniors today and tonight, Attica head coach Robert Crowley said. Isaac Herman, Josh Deal, Rocco Socho, and Miguel Sabrian Pena all started and contributed throughout the entire game. I was proud of the team's effort throughout the game. All 13 players on the team scored and contributed on both ends of the floor. This marked Attica's final game of the regular season, pushing its record to 7-13. The Blue Devils are currently the number 9 seed in the Section V Class B2. Wheatland Chilai drops to 0-18 after the loss. We have a few more death notices. Darlene A. Zelliff, 69. Jason L. Bush, 52. Agnes B. Taylor, George W. Larish, 71. Esther Smith, Yolanda Busseri, 95. Beth Ann Grove, 79. And Ralph N. Worthington, 78. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the February 18th issue and the February 17th issue of the Batavia Daily News. We read from the Batavia Daily News every Saturday at 9 a.m. Your reader has been Mary Gilmore. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the East Aurora Advertiser. At 11 o'clock, we have the Niagara Gazette. And at noon, we have the Dunkirk Observer. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. Radio Reading mails out a large print program schedule to our listeners every other month. If you have not received a Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service large print program schedule in the mail, please call us at 716-821-5555. We will make sure that you receive one every other month. A Braille version of the schedule is also available upon request. Our number again is 716-821-5555. The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability.